these are actually based off of the My Talking Tom game, and in that game you could actually customize Tom. And so these were some of the skins that you could choose. Apparently you were able to also press the toy's stomach or press the head in order to get it to say something, which I think is a pretty cool callback to the Talking Tom game since you can punch his stomach and his head. Overall, it seems like there were 6 unique poses across the 10 characters because some poses are repeated. And honestly, I don't know why they just did Talking Tom for this one, because in 2013's version, it was actually a lot more inclusive and included Talking Tom, Talking Ben, Talking Pierre, Talking Ginger, Talking Angela, and Talking Gina the Giraffe. These toys were a lot more varied and unique, and there were a couple of figures of Talking Tom and Ben, some wobble beans, a megaphone, and a fake phone that you could put character cards into, which makes it look like you're playing one of the Outfit 7 games. What really surprised me the most is the fact that Talking Gina is included in this collab. I just think it's so interesting because Gina is mostly forgotten about today. There's also this unique piece of art included, which is this specific card, which has all of the characters in the collab in Talking Tom 2's room. I personally have never seen this graphic ever, and I believe it is unique to this specific collab. The 2013 collab was exclusive to McDonald's UK and Australia, while the 2016 one was only available in North and South America. If you didn't live in either of these regions at the time, or you weren't around back in 2016 or 2013, then that's probably why you don't remember this collab. Overall, I think it's really interesting that this piece of Outfit 7's history is really not talked about anymore, and I also wonder if they'll ever partner with McDonald's again. So let me know if you've heard of this collab, or if you actually ended up buying one of the Happy Meals back in the day and got one of the toys. Our next collab is a more recent one, taking place around a year ago in summer of 2025. Some of you may actually remember this collab, and it is the Talking Tom and Friends and Miraculous Ladybug collab. Now, for the first half of the collab, it seems pretty normal. What they did was just bring Ladybug into Talking Tom Hero Dash, and incorporated her into a part of the story where they fought against the raccoons. But the second half of the collab is one that really caught my eye, and that's because they decided to do this half of the collab inside of Roblox. That's right, Talking Tom and Talking Angela appeared in the Roblox game Miraculous RP Quests of Ladybug and Cat Noir. This is how Talking Tom and Angela looked in Roblox, and honestly they didn't do a terrible job. I guess the reason why they did it in Roblox was because Miraculous Ladybug joined the Talking Tom game, but there really wasn't a game for Talking Tom to join Miraculous Ladybug, except for this one Roblox game they had. So basically Talking Tom and Angela just kinda showed up in a Roblox RP game, and for some reason their design is a lot more accurate to the characters than Miraculous Ladybug and Cat Noir. The collab ended up being a total success, with more than 13 million runs in Talking Tom Hero Dash being completed as Ladybug, while the Roblox game brought in more than 3.6 million unique players. The success of the collab prompted another collab between My Talking Angela 2 and Miraculous Ladybug, which brought in a bunch of customization and outfits from Miraculous Ladybug, and this collab ended on December 18th, 2025. So let me know if you played Talking Tom Hero Dash or My Talking Angela 2 during the collab, but I'm most interested in hearing if any of you guys played the Roblox game while Talking Tom was in it, so if you did, let me know in the comments. Our final collab is one that some people may consider a collab and others may not, and that's why I decided to include it at the end. And the topic of this segment is the Talking Friends Disney show, not to be confused with the Talking Tom and Friends show from 2014. On June 8th, 2012, Disney and Talking Tom put up their first episode of the Talking Friends series. The episode was only around 3 minutes long, and all of these subsequent episodes were the same length. The series had a total of 10 episodes running from June 8th to August 31st, so the series only ran for like a month and a half, and in total the whole series was only about 30 minutes long. What I find really interesting about this series is that it pays homage to the actual games and tries to include different aspects of the games in each episode. For example, there is one episode where Tom and Ben are actually at the news station, just like the Talking Tom and Ben news game. I also believe that they use the same 3D models from the games in the show, as they look pretty much exactly the same as the ones in the games. And I really like the fact that Talking Pierre actually has a pretty major role in the series, and no matter what you think about the series, we can all agree that there was one great thing we got from it, which was the You Get Me song. And I gotta say, this is probably one of the most iconic parts about the show. So yeah, let me know if you watched the Talking Friends series from 2012. Anyways, that's all I got for today's video. Outfit 7 has collaborated with a bunch of other brands, but I thought these were the most interesting ones. If there's any others you think I missed, let me know down in the comments. And if you liked the video, a like would be truly appreciated, and if you want to see more like this, then make sure to subscribe. See ya! by far Outfit 7's most popular and profitable character is Talking Tom. It's like their golden child. All the other characters are cool, but Tom is the most known one. But today, Tom is almost unrecognizable compared to his glory days. This is how Outfit 7 ruined Talking Tom. To explain how Outfit 7 ruined Talking Tom, we have to go way back. Okay, maybe not that far back, but let's go back to 2017. This was the year that Outfit 7 was sold to a Chinese company called Jink Entertainment Culture Co. Limited. Outfit 7 was sold to this company for $1 billion, and while this sale wasn't really beneficial to the Talking Tom franchise, I gotta say that if I was in the position of the Outfit 7 CEO, I would have definitely taken that deal. After the sale went through, the founders of Outfit 7, Sam Login and Isa Login, stepped down and were replaced by a new CEO. This sale fundamentally changed the way Outfit 7 operated. After the sale, we saw a lot more spin-off games based off of Talking Tom being made, and they were usually 2D games that were based off of one simple mechanic and didn't really have much substance to them. Basically just trying to make as much money off of the Talking Friends franchise as possible. We also saw the art style of the Talking Tom characters drastically change to make the characters appear a lot younger, giving them bigger eyes and a more chibi style. The new Outfit 7 also really focused on virtual pet games instead of talking games. Basically games where you would take care of the character instead of just the main gimmick being talking to them. Which is really not a bad thing. I think it was a good direction for the company to head in. You can't just make talking games forever. But that is when we get to the modern day, because just a few weeks ago, Outfit 7 relaunched Talking Tomcat for the second time, leaving us with this new version of Tom. As you may know, the first version of Tom looked like this in 2010. Then this app was removed and replaced with this version in 2016. And now, 9 years later, this app was removed and replaced with this version of Talking Tom. I actually think the 2016 redesign wasn't all that bad. It kept a lot of the main elements and characteristics of the original talking model. And I mean, to be honest, the main difference is they just kind of blurred the texture and made it a little bit smoother. But other than that, you can easily still tell that that is Talking Tom at a glance. With this new version, he's become almost unrecognizable. It seems like the only similarity between the new Talking Tom and the older ones is just the fact that it's a gray cat with green eyes. That's probably what they told the guy who made the model, just make us a gray cat with green eyes, and they just called it a day. The entire vibe of the app is also completely different. It feels like a brain rot version of the original, filled with these overly energetic animations, and for some reason there's a pretty big focus on farting, which is kind of weird. Also, there's really no way for me to verify this, but it feels like there are 10 times the amount of ads in this app than there was in the original or the 2016 version. There were so many Temu ads that you had to skip like 3 times in order to get back to the game. They probably used this opportunity to bait people's nostalgia, get them to install the app, and then shove a bunch of ads in their face to make as much money as possible in the shortest amount of time. You know, someone who hasn't played the game in 10 years might be like, oh, like, you know, it's a new redesign, let me check it out, and then they delete the game after like 5 minutes, but at least they saw like 20 ads, right? It kind of feels like they don't actually trust this game to do well, so they're just trying to bank on people's nostalgia as quickly as possible. I will say that in this game there's a lot more to do than the original or even the 2016 one. There's different voice modes for Talking Tom, so you can make him speak in different ways, but in this app he doesn't sound like himself. He sounds like a regular 20-something-year-old dude. He just sounds like a human. They didn't even try to change the sound or get a voice actor that makes it sound different. It just sounds like a normal dude voicing him. But there's also one other thing I'd like to note. While this app was launched in August of this year, there was an app before it that was actually launched in July. Well, technically it was launched in December, but that was a soft launch, and then they removed the app, and then they put it back a couple days later, and then they removed it again. Then it globally launched in July of this year. And this app is called My Talking Tom Friends 2. This app features the new design of Talking Tom that's in the latest Talking Tom app, but it also features a redesign of every other Talking Friends character. And to be honest, it almost looks uncanny. Angela and Ben look completely different. They gave Ben these glasses, and I mean, Angela just doesn't look like Angela anymore. But to be honest, Hank still looks like himself, and I also think it's not really a bad redesign for Hank. But this likely means that we're gonna get newer versions of Talking Ben and Talking Angela featuring these new character designs, which might be a problem because we still have the original version of Talking Ben up on the App Store and a version of Talking Angela that is pretty much exactly like the original. So a redesign would probably mean that they're gonna take these apps down after more than a decade of them being up. I honestly don't know why Outfit 7 is going this route of redesigning every character and just changing the vibe up completely, but now the characters just look look like this empty corporate shell of themselves. They've lost all the unique aspects of themselves that made them them. And now it looks like someone drew the characters from memory. I think Outfit 7 wanted people to get excited about the franchise again, and so they thought this would be the best way to do it. But what they basically did was take the design that a lot of people are fond of and